All right, Geometry 1, we're looking at the basics of geometry. This is lesson 1.01, and there are a couple things that we're really going to be looking at during this lesson. We're going to be looking at undefined terms first, undefined terms, and we're going to be looking at defined terms. And so after this lesson, you should have a good understanding of those. So the first thing that we need to think about in geometry is what is it to be undefined versus defined? Well, the undefined terms are the basic terms of geometry with no formal definition. So the basic terms of geometry when I do my notes, I sometimes use shorthand like this. So geo for geometry and use that for width. You don't have to do that, but that's something I do. And so no formal definition, DEF period. So if you want to use shortcuts like that in your notes, I think it's a pretty good idea, but you don't have to. So the three undefined terms are point, and a point is a location with no dimension. That means it has no size. Dimension is size. The other thing here is, I guess I should point out that it says basic terms of geometry. And the way that I think about that, it's kind of like the building blocks. So we're going to build this thing, geometry, and we're going to build it out of these three basic terms. So they're like the foundation of geometry, the building blocks of geometry. So point is the first one, and it is a location with no dimension. The second one is line, and it's an infinite number of points. So it's made up of points. So if you think about like an infinite number of points, and if you zoom in on them, there's an infinite number of points in between any two different points. So we say that when they're so close together, we say that they are dense. They are infinitely close together, and in between any two, so like if you could zoom way, way in, there's two, we zoom in and there's infinitely more, and then there's two more, and we zoom in and there's infinitely more. So that's what it means. So an infinite number of points, extending in opposite directions. And there's only one dimension. So notice that a point is no dimensions, and a line is only one dimension. And one way to think about these dimensions is we live in a three-dimensional world. Like my phone here, it has a length, it has a width, and it has a height. And so those are the three dimensions. So a point has no dimensions. There's no length, there's no width, there's no height. It's infinitely small, and it's just a location. A line is made up of infinitely many points in opposite directions. So we can't have a line look like this because this is not the opposite direction of that. So that's not a line. So a line looks like this, where again, if we zoomed in, so we have 2 points here, and we zoom in, there's infinitely many points in there. Zoom in, there's infinitely many points in there, so it's like that. and there's only one dimension. So it has length. It doesn't have width or depth. That's a way to think of it. Okay. Now the third undefined term is plane, and this is not like an airplane. Even though they do have an airplane in the explanation here, it's a flat surface that extends infinitely. A flat surface that extends infinitely and has no depth. So lots of people think of like a piece of paper as being a plane, but even a piece of paper has some depth. So it's not a plane. All of these three terms exist in the world of geometry, not in our physical world. There is no line in our physical world. It couldn't be because it only has one dimension. Things in our physical world have three dimensions. All right. Any questions so far about those three terms? So there's an idea here that's really important, and it's the idea of coplanar and non-coplanar. So coplanar, it's a funny word, coplanar, is points, so lines as well, because lines are made up of points. So points on the same plane. And I see a question, yes. Yeah, no problem. Thank you for asking. I don't know what that L is at the end of infinite. Oh, infinitely. Oops, sorry, needed a Y. Thanks for telling me to go up. So coplanar means that they're on the same plane. Now, if you think about it, like let's just imagine that this book is it's a book of M.C. Escher. That's right. On my desk, I have pictures of M.C. Escher. Anyway, if this is a plane and here is another plane, these two planes intersect, and imagine that they extend forever. They intersect, but there might be a line that touches this plane, so it goes on this one, and it touches this plane, but it's not on it. And so points that are not on the same plane are non-coplanar. So coplanar means on the same plane. The next terms that we're going to look at is a line segment. So a line segment is a part of a line, but it has two endpoints. A part of a line with two endpoints. And so it's represented, here's something that I didn't show. Points are often represented with a name like A or B. A line can be represented like this, A, B, like that. So notice that it has that arrow above it. It's saying it goes forever in each direction. And a line segment then also looks similar to that, but it's just like this. So you can imagine these endpoints at the end of it. And so, and it would actually, we could think of a line segment like this. So this is how we would talk about line segment AB, and here is line segment AB. All right. Now, once we have point, line, plane, and this idea of a line segment where we have these endpoints, these are called the endpoints. And once we have those, we can talk about array. Array is a part of a line that has one endpoint. Part of a line that has one endpoint. And continues, if I can spell continues right, infinitely in one direction, or continues in one direction infinitely. And the way that we represent that is like this. So here is ray AB. So there's an arrow above the AB. And here would be ray AB. Now be careful. This would not be ray AB. We would call that ray BA. Usually, so notice that above this, the endpoint is above the A. So it's just a little technical difference, but it's an important difference. So that is key.